Hello again, everyone. For this session, we're going to attempt to show a little demo of how to install RipRunner on a hosted provider where you have a website hosted by some third party, and in this case my provider is running some version of Linux. They already have PHP installed, they have MySQL database installed, and we're going to just show a very basic installation, and if all goes well, we'll just also show a sample SMS message sent to my cell phone. So to start off, we're just going to start here on the RipRunner GitHub page. We're going to download zip, and I'm going to download that. Created a little folder for that. It's downloaded it right here into that folder. I'm going to extract the contents. And now what I'm going to do is the folder that I just created is called RipRunner Master. I'm going to go into that folder, and in the PHP folder I'm going to rename. No, I'm not going to rename. I'm just going to go in here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send all the files in the PHP folder to the root folder on my server where I want them to be installed. So for that, I'm going to connect to my website, in this case for this demo, vavoda.com, and just going to create a demo folder called RR, short for RipRunner. And I'm going to go into that folder. You can see it's empty. Looking at the page externally, vavoda.com/RR, page not found, nothing is there because it's empty. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my FTP client, and I'm going to copy all the files from the PHP folder into that root folder I named RR. And I'm just going to pause the video until that's done. And all done FTPing those files up to the server, so we're just going to continue along here. And what we're going to do is, now that we've sent those files, I'm just going to refresh this page again, my website /RR, where I've sent the files to. And we see this screen. And it basically is saying the config script does not exist. Please create it. You can click on this screen to generate one. And let's do that. Let's click on that screen. And these sections, this is just like the other video where we showed how to do that for Windows. This will be for my host. Vavoda.com is hosted by a web hosting provider. So I'm going to create a database named RR. Username is also RR. I just gave them the password RipRunner. Some name for my volunteer firehall. 555 test drive. Give the geo coordinates, and this part's important, the root URL path to the website where we can find, it's essentially this part with a trailing slash and HTTP colon in front. 2 colons, no, 1 colon. And firehall ID, I'll give it 100. And And the only other thing I'm going to do here is this SMS. These settings aren't really, they're not really dynamic at this point. I'm going to have to enhance this, but for now, if I change this to Textbelt local, this is going to allow me to show you guys sending an SMS sample text message using a local free service. And I'm just going to click Generate Configuration. It's going to create that config PHP file. I'm going to download it into my PHP folder, in my downloads folder where I sent everything. And then I'm going to come back to my FTP program here. And I'm going to copy this newly downloaded config.php to the root folder of riprunner on my server. And there's one thing I need to do before that, and I need to edit that file. Indeed, I need to edit it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open that config.php file, and I'm going to find the section where I have Textbelt, and I'm going to replace these few lines with riprunner at whatever your website name is. I did the wrong thing here. In fact, need to paste these two lines. This is the email address I'll be sending from, and then my region, in this case Canada. I think the other options you can use are US and INTL for international. It's going to let me send a sample SMS message. So I will save this file, this little change, and I'll resend that change over to my website. Okay, so now coming back to this tab where we saw this error message, I'm going to refresh this page, and I should see something different. Okay, now if we see this, I guess basically what it means is I haven't created the RR user or database on my server. So I'm going to go to my hosting provider, do that, and I'm going to refresh this page again. Okay, I've created the RR user. I'm going to try to go back to RR and see what happens. No, I guess I have to create the database. I'll be right back. Alright, so what I did was I went on my hosting provider, I created a database called RR, and I created a user named RR who has access to that database. So now when I hit enter, something's not right. Alright, so coming back to this, at this point, that's fine, it can't find the table and all that. Now we need to run our install. So instead of just going to RR, I'm going to run rr/install php, and it's going to come to this screen. We're going to see some of the settings I entered in that previous screen over here where we entered all these values, firehall 100, my volunteer firehall. It's found that configuration. I'm going to click install, and it says here firehall does not exist. It created the schema, created a default administrator account, firehall ID 100, user ID admin, and some random password. I'm going to copy this password, go to the login page, and I'm going to log in as admin. Firehall 100 admin, and I'm going to paste that password, and we've logged in successfully. And now I'm just going to show a little sample sending an SMS message from the application. So what I'm going to do here is create a new user, Firehall 100. Call this test user. It'll be just a regular firefighter. And phone number, I'll use my cell phone. And enable SMS. And I'm going to save this record. And so I've created a test user, entered their mobile phone, and here I'm going to click show hide send message, and we're going to send a sample message. And at the same time I'm going to start recording, and I'm going to tack that video on the end of this, what's happening on my cell phone, so we'll be able to see that. So my cell phone is now recording. And what are we going to enter here? This is a test message from Rip Runner. Testing 1, 2, 3. Send using SMS. And it sent the message. Very shortly my cell phone will get this text message, and our short demo will be complete. And there it is. Let's pick that. And here we see it says Rip Runner. This is a test message from Rip Runner testing 1, 2, 3. Perfect.